Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name's Rachel and this is Stitched Up. So it's Sunday morning. It is absolutely horrible weather today here in Yorkshire, and I'm in the conservatory because my husband is on nights, so he's in bed fast asleep. So this is the only place in the house where I can film today that isn't really going to disturb him. So I wanted to do this video to show you what I've been making this week. So I've been waiting for the rain to stop because it's been raining since I got up early this morning, and the sound of the rain on the top of the conservatory roof would mean that you wouldn't be able to hear me. It'd be really distracting. So I've been waiting for it to stop patiently, and I think we're just about there, and I'm hoping it's going to brighten up a little bit. But if it starts raining heavy again, then I might have to interrupt this video and redo it a little bit later, but we'll see how we get on. Anyway, first things first, thank you for all your lovely comments on my last video, which was my makes for February. I'm really sorry I haven't had chance to get round to responding to individual comments yet. I have read every single one, and there's been some really lovely comments, so I appreciate that as always. A couple of you have mentioned about the issues I have with my figure, I guess. I think you guys seem to be picking up on that, and I think a few people have mentioned that you know, you've been really lovely and kind, but you know, it's how we all feel about ourselves, isn't it? And I'm not happy the way I am at the minute, because I know we all know how we like to feel. It's all about how you feel, isn't it? And I don't feel great at the minute, but I'm getting there. I have lost some weight. I'm running regularly now, which is great. I've been running 3 to 4 times a week, and this is the end of week 4. So I'm finally feeling like I'm getting fitter again and getting back to where I was. So that's really cool. Did manage to do an 8-mile run yesterday, which was brilliant. I did try it on Thursday, and unfortunately I just wasn't feeling the love at all on Thursday for running, so yeah, that didn't work out very well. But yesterday I did manage to do 8 miles, so I'm really pleased. It's the longest run I've done for a long time. Anyway, back to sewing. So today I'm wearing this vibrant star jumper, and it's not homemade, I'm afraid. This is one that my husband bought me for Valentine's Day. I saw it and really liked it, and yeah, it's not homemade. What can I say? But let's get back to what I've been doing this week. So, if you remember a few vlogs back, I mentioned that I wanted to do the Lander pants, but I'd also seen a free pattern by Peppermint magazine. They are I think, New Zealand online sort of craft sewing magazine. And they do collaboration with In the Folds, which is a pattern company who sell some really good sewing patterns. Actually, they're really well drafted, and I've got a couple of theirs already, but they do free ones as well, which is really generous. And one that caught my eye was the Peppermint magazine / In the Folds wide leg pants. Now I'll show you the instructions here. It's not a great picture because it's just a line drawing, but if I just bring that closer so you can have a look. So essentially it's a wide leg pant that isn't full length, but it's not cropped either. It's just about ankle length, and it's got front pockets and a fly front with a waistband, a couple of darts in the back. Really simple, really straightforward. And yeah, I saw this and saw some pictures of it made up and thought, you know what, I really like that shape, and I wanted to have a go at making them. At the time I was having issues with the Lander pants, only because I had lost the PDF files because my laptop had died, but a couple of very kind people had offered to send me them, so that's now sorted. So thank you to those of you that offered, and to the very special lady that sent me the files. Thank you so much for that. But yeah, I saw this pattern and I did think it's very much like the Landers, but it's a fly front rather than buttonhole front, and I thought, you know, it's a free pattern, I'm going to have a go at it. So I found some fabric in my stash, which is actually fabric that my mother-in-law gave me. She was clearing out her house a few months ago now, and she found a few pieces of fabric. Now, I've known my mother-in-law obviously all the time that I've been with my husband, which is over 20 years, and I have never known her to be the sewing type at all. So I've no idea where this fabric came from. My husband just turned up with it one day saying, my mum's brought this, see if you want to make something with it. So this is a really lovely, if I just show you, this is a really lovely black and white leaf print. It's like, it's definitely got a lot of cotton in it, but I think it's a cotton viscose or a cotton linen blend, probably more cotton linen to be honest, but it's obviously an old fabric. Don't know how long she's had it, but you know, this kind of tropical leaf print is really in at the minute, and out of the few fabrics she gave me, I was really drawn to this one. I thought it was lovely. I had about 2.5 meters in total, so I decided that I was going to use this to make the toil for the wide leg pants. And yeah, these are the finished pants. So if I just hold them up here, I am going to insert some pictures to show you, but essentially, yeah, I absolutely love these. I think they're amazing, and I can't wait to wear them in spring and summer. They're going to be so lovely and floaty and cool, and nice to wear, nice and breezy on those hot sunny days where you want to feel just a little bit more covered up. So if I just bring it closer, you can see, it's difficult because it's a bit of a busy print, but you can see it's got this waistband on the front, and I've put 2 little buttons there. My buttonholes are a little bit off, but you know, this was supposed to be a wearable toil. It's got these lovely deep pockets in the front, one on each side, and they're faced with the same fabric. But obviously if you didn't have enough, you could just face them with something different if you wanted to. It's got this lovely fly front, and I am so pleased with how this fly front has gone. I don't know if you can see it there, but it's just, the stitching for the fly front is just about there. But if I undo them, and I can show you a little bit better. So there's the fly front. You can just see the facing there. And yeah, I found this is probably, I would say this is probably the 3rd or 4th fly that I've ever done, and this is probably the best one that I've ever done. They're not easy. They do take a little bit of thought, and it's I think when you've never attempted a fly before, it's difficult to visualise what piece goes where and what you're trying to create, if that makes sense. But when you've done 2 or 3, I'm starting to sort of understand now and know what I'm doing, rather than just following the instructions and hoping for the best that it works out. So yeah, I'm really, really happy with how that fly is done. If I just turn them around to the back, they do have a couple of darts in the back, which is great for shaping. The waistband is a curved waistband, which for someone like me who's pear-shaped is absolutely perfect, because it means it fits right into the small of my back. But obviously if you've got more of a straight boyish figure, then you'd probably be better off with a straight waistband, I would think, or you know, if you've got a flattish bum, that kind of thing. But I haven't, I've got a sticky out bum, so yeah, so it's perfect for me. And yeah, they've got a wide leg. They're quite fitted through the hip and the top of the, from the waist down to the hip, they're quite fitted, which is the kind of silhouette that I like, because that's where I tend to be. Well, my waist is my smallest part, but as it goes down to my hips, I've got quite wide hips, and I don't want anything really floaty over my hips, because I just think I feel bigger. I'd rather have something a little bit more fitted till it gets to my hip and then flare out, if that makes sense. Yeah, they're just a straight waist, straight wide leg right down to the ankle, and these are just literally turned over and stitched on the machine. I haven't hand hemmed them at all. But as I say, I will insert some pictures of me wearing these trousers just to show you. And the fit is absolutely amazing. The only change I made was, obviously I added a little bit of length to the trousers. I think I added about an inch, just to make sure that they fit me where I wanted them to fit me. But obviously, you know, if you don't like this particular length of these trousers, you can make them shorter. If you wanted to make them cropped length, you could make them longer if you wanted them all the way down to your foot, like a full length trouser. You could even cut them off into shorts, and to be honest, I'm planning on doing that because I think this pattern is just so good. They are high-waisted, which I really like. I do think I would like to make some sort of hipster style ones, which I could hack this pattern to just reduce the depth of the waistband, I think, and make some hipster style ones. The instructions are very, very straightforward. They're very good. And fit wise, I'm just looking at what size I made. When I looked at the body measurements, now they don't come in sizes sort of 6, 8, 10, 12, that kind of thing. They do them A through to J, and the smallest size is a 24-inch waist, 33-inch hip, and it goes all the way up to 45.5-inch waist and a 54.5-inch hip. So there is quite a good variation there to cater to lots of people with through that size range. Okay, so fabric wise, they are designed for a woven fabric, but you could get away with something like a stretch twill, a stretch cotton sateen, that type of thing. You could make them in a fairly lightweight fabric. You could make them in a fairly lightweight fabric, or you could make them in something a little bit more heavyweight. So you've got a fair few options there. I wouldn't make them out of jersey, scuba, anything like that. I would tend to stick to a more woven style. Fabric requirements, you need between, dependent on the width of your fabric, you can get the pattern pieces out of 45-inch fabric as well as 60-inch fabric. And obviously it depends on whether you're using fabric with a print. Obviously the first version that I made for my toil is a directional print, and I did manage to get them, including lengthening them, out of about 2.5 meters of fabric. But it does say between 2.2 yards and 2.8 yards, which is 2 meters to 2.5 meters. So I did need 2.5 meters because of the directional print. What else can I tell you? Size wise, I'll be totally honest with you what my measurements are at the minute. My waist is a 31-inch waist at the minute, and my hip is 44, 45 inch. So I chose my size based on the finished garment measurements, which the size D was a 31.5 and E was a 33. So I graded between a D and an E just so I had a little bit more wiggle room in the waist department. And I graded up to an F, which was a 45.5-inch hip, just so I had a little bit of room around the hip, and I found that worked really well. It meant that they were fairly fitted round my waist and hips, but I still had enough ease to be able to move about and feel comfortable, that kind of thing. So, what else can I tell you? The instructions are very, very easy to follow. I really liked the instructions for the fly construction. It's different to the previous flies that I've done before, and the only ones I have done before I think were the grain line maritime shorts. I don't think I've constructed a fly on anything else before, so listening to the rain starting again. So it's the grain line instructions that I've used before, and it is slightly different to this version, but I was more than capable of following the instructions for this fly, and it did make sense. The instructions tell you when to finish your seams. So yeah, really, really, really good instructions, and I would highly recommend in the falls patterns if it's something that you're considering and this style is something that you like. So one other alteration that I did make was just to lower the crotch depth by 1/2 inch on the front and the back piece. As you know, I'm tall and I've got a long torso and I'm long bodied as well, so I just wanted to give myself a little bit more wiggle room down in the crotch area with them being high waisted, so we didn't get that dreaded camel toe thing. Ugh. Anyway, I was so happy with the way that these trousers came out that I immediately wanted to make another pair, and I have had this organic cotton stretch twill in my stash for about 3 years now, which I bought from Fabworks in Dewsbury. And I bought it because it had actually been used on a pair of wide leg culottes in Love Sewing magazine. They used it as their sort of their sample, I guess, on the front. And when I saw it, and I was going to Fabworks anyway, and I hunted it down and bought some of that fabric. And I'd planned actually to make some landers out of it and never got round to it. But as soon as I'd done the first version of these trousers, I decided, yeah, that I'm going to dig that out of my stash and make another pair. So this is a bit more heavier weight than the leaf print trousers that I made out of the cotton linen fabric from my mother-in-law, but it's worked just as well. This has got some stretch in it. So here are my finished wide leg pants. Aren't they just an amazing shade of green? Now I'm a bit annoyed with the waistband. If you can see closely there, you can see that it doesn't match up perfectly. I've got the depth of the waistband when I've turned it over not completely even, so I'm a little bit annoyed at that, but you know, it's done now and I can't be bothered to undo it and redo it. But I'm pleased with how the pockets have come out. They've come out lovely. They're nice and sharp at both sides. The fly, again, I've used just a green button out of my stash, and I just use one button on these. If I undo them, again, if you just look at that fly construction, it's so neat and tidy. I'm so pleased with it. The green zip I had in my stash as well, and yeah, I'm just really pleased with them. But doing another pair in a plain fabric obviously helps you to see the details a little bit better. On the back, if I turn them round, you can see the darts. There's one just there and one just there, and again I've kept these exactly the same length, and I have just machine stitched the hem at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that very well, but yeah, these are fabulous pair of pants. Again, I will put some video of me wearing these here so you can have a look and see what the fit is like. These have got a nice stretch to them, so they're very comfortable to wear. I basically did a stitch in the ditch with the waistband, and all I did with that, I don't have a stitch in the ditch foot, but I just have a regular, just my regular sewing foot that has got a single hole where the needle goes through, and I used that to directly on the seam so that I knew that the needle would hit in the right place, if that makes sense. And that's how I did the stitch in the ditch, to stitch the waistband down so that I didn't have to hand stitch it. But yeah, I love these trousers, they're just amazing. And in the video you can see that I'm just wearing it with a little strappy top, and it was just one that I had to hand, which is a navy blue one at the minute, which I would probably wear these in the summer with probably an Ogden cami, maybe a white one, or a sort of creamy one for the green trousers. I'm not sure. But yeah, I think I'm really happy with them, and I'm not going to stop at 2 pairs. I am going to make more of these because they're so comfortable to wear. I think the fit is really perfect, and although I want to lose more weight, so I do anticipate that these are going to get a little bit bigger on me, because at the beginning of last year my waist was 28 inches, 27.5, 28 inches, and obviously I've gone up a good couple of inches, and my hips were down to a 42, so I am going to lose, as I lose more weight and tone up with my running, that's going to come off. But the good thing about these is with the waistband, if I can just show you the side seam of the waistband there, I'll be able to just unstitch this and just hopefully take them in at the side and take them in at the crotch. There should be, because I know the construction, how these have been constructed, I'm hoping that I will be able to easily unstitch them and just take them in slightly to fit me a little bit better. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, that's it from me today. Yeah, I just wanted to check in and just tell you about these trousers that I've made this week. I've got a few bits and pieces on my sewing table for the coming week. Not going to get much done today, although it's Sunday, because it's my birthday. It's not my birthday tomorrow. It's my son's 16th birthday tomorrow, and I'm baking him a red velvet cake for his birthday today. So that's my plan for today. My daughter is coming home tonight for a few days as well. I've got a few days off work, so I'm looking forward to that. So I'm hoping that I will get some sewing time in while she's up and while I've got some time off work. And yeah, my husband finishes his nights. Tonight's his last night, so he will be up and about during the day from tomorrow afternoon, which means I'll be able to sew during the day again. So I'm looking forward to that. So whatever you're doing the rest of your Sunday, I hope you're enjoying it, and yeah, I will see you all again really soon. Bye bye.